Uh, and I believe we are live.
Yep.
Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 232 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the man who can't wait to watch Twisted Metal, the TV show, the Peacock original TV show coming in the future, John Hansen.
I wish I was more excited for it. I want it to be good. I want Twisted Metal to come back and just be great, but man, we're going to talk about it here in a bit, but just not. Um, Before we get into this, want to hear some crazy stuff that's been happening in Davenport, where I live?
Sure.
Davenport, Iowa. So there was this apartment. I want to say it was over this last weekend. It partially collapsed,
Oh, I saw
and
that. I think that was Memorial Day weekend, I think, right?
maybe it might have been a little longer than I'm thinking. But yeah, so I live in the area, and there's like all this crazy stuff coming out about how like the owner of the building knew that the place was like falling apart and cracking and just never did anything about it. And now there's like all these different lawsuits about to come out. 3 people were found dead in it, and like they were gonna demolish the building before going in and evacuating people and their pets.
What?
Yeah, there was people. They were set to demolish the building before like going in and making sure that everyone was
Be-
out and all that.
the- So like they were just gonna take the building down before they even checked every
Yeah,
crevice.
yeah. So
That's
I want to say,
wild.
so yeah, about a week ago, there was just a bunch of people from around here like showed up to like tell them to stop and everything, and the police came to like hold everyone back and everything. It's
That's
pretty
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok first, I think. And what I had seen was like it was a video of like the news, right, talking about it. But
Mhm.
somebody had like what's it called on TikTok when you like use the clip and then talk over it?
Stitch.
Stitch, yeah, there you go. That's how old I am. I don't even know what the fuck that's called. I was gonna say like quote tweeted, but they stitched to it and said that like they used to live in that building, and it
Mhm.
was like notorious for like the landlord not giving a shit about like they'd be like, oh yeah, there were cockroaches, landlord wouldn't do anything about it, or like my thermostat wasn't working, so like my heat was just at 80 degrees for like a month, and they wouldn't do
Yeah,
anything about it. So yeah,
yeah.
sounds
I,
like that person who owns that building is fucked.
yeah, I saw that he like hired someone from Chicago that's like a crisis manager, and so they're going out and like trying to be like, "Oh, we are so sorry about all this," and all that kind
They're
of
trying,
stupid legal
yeah.
shit they
I
have
I
to put
mean,
out there.
yeah. What they're doing is they're trying to pay people off now. Like, hey, you think that
Hmm.
like $20,000 will be fine for you never to bring this up again? It's
Yeah,
like, no, fuck you. My fucking ceiling collapsed. My dog
right.
died. Like,
Yeah. Brandon Edison, he lives in Davenport as well. He says, "What's scary is the landlord owns 40 something buildings around here." So yeah, it's this isn't the first time I've heard about like a building area around here just like not collapsing, but like being so bad that there was another apartment area in another part of the city where I know they had to like evacuate everyone out and like completely tear them down and just redo them all over the pandemic. It's ridiculous. So
crazy.
come on out to Iowa.
So yeah, video games. Video
Yeah.
games. Sorry, I had to burp. But yeah, feel free to follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pin tweet there where you can find a YouTube link to go subscribe to us on YouTube, or search for Pixel Street videos in YouTube and you will find us. That's where we post all of our podcasts, let's plays, unboxings. We stream the show live there like we are right now. You can join the chat live, usually Wednesday nights, sometimes Thursday nights, because we get busy. We're just a
We
couple
got
dudes
lives, man.
living our lives. Um, yeah. Also join our Discord. That is also in our pinned tweet. and send us a picture of your shitty apartment. No, I
You gotta
sincerely hope
see it.
nobody has an apartment shitty enough to post a picture being like, "Hey, look at how shitty this is."
Look at how the walls are cracking down the middle of my living room.
I mean, that's not a shitty apartment thing. That's just an apartment thing, John.
Dude, I there was just to go back to it really quick. I saw another TikTok where a woman had like moved out of there like 2 weeks before, and she was like posting pictures of her living room and just
That's
cracks
wild.
all the way down. Yeah.
The worst thing I think that I've seen in like all the apartments I've lived in Chicago are there are some really lazy landlords where they just paint over the wall outlets and like the light switches. Have you seen that?
Hmm.
Where it's like, yo, take the extra 10 seconds and unscrew the thing, paint around it, and then screw it back on. But no, these things are just fucking caked in paint. It's ridiculous, man.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Be better, landlords. Be better.
They don't care. They
Uh,
get easy money.
but anyway, let's talk about video games, John. Summer Game Fest happened today, June 8th, 2023. I did not watch it, and reading your like notable announcements here, I'm kind of glad I didn't because that thing was
It,
2 hours long.
it was almost 2 hours long. It was like 1 hour and 47 minutes, something like that. It was
Sounds like
close
it
to
was
it.
an hour too long,
It
honestly.
it was very long. There was yeah, so I watched it with Brandon. I went over to his place and we watched it, and we were expecting for some exciting stuff. Like we knew Mortal Kombat was going to be there. I knew about Alan Wake, but we were like, okay,
Yo, Brandon,
hopefully.
where was my invite, man? Come on, what the fuck?
We were just sitting there like waiting for something like really amazing to be shown, and it just never really happened. I get a lot of people are going to be excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like you are, but for me, that's not exciting because I'm.
So here's my thing is like that was like their last thing, like their one more thing, more or less, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like to end a show, it has to be something that like is not known about, right? Like we know Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming. Granted, that's the first time we really saw anything on it in terms of gameplay and stuff. But I don't know.
I will say it was a surprise to me that they gave the release date and it's like early next year. And then also a really odd thing that it's going to be on 2 discs on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's really weird to me. I don't know why that is. I highly doubt that it's got to be just like a massive install or something. I have no idea.
I
I'm
but
completely lost why that
here's the
is.
thing. Here's the weird thing too is like most games when you put them in your PlayStation or Xbox, you have to download something anyway.
Hmm.
So unless they're saying that you can truly buy the game, not be connected to the internet at all, put the game in your PlayStation and play the game without any updates or downloads or anything. But yeah, it almost seems like it could just be like a marketing thing too, to be like, oh, we got the 2 disc game over here.
Remember back when Final Fantasy VII came out on the PlayStation 1 and had 2 discs?
It had 4 discs.
Oh, did it? Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Put me in my place.
I think it was 4. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. I never played it. Yeah, while you're looking that up, I was kind of let down. Like, there's stuff in there that I liked, but
It was three
overall,
discs. It was three
okay.
discs.
It was just a lot of stuff that just, mm, I don't know, didn't really. There was one moment the entire time where I felt like I was legitimately hyped for a
We're
surprise.
still here at the
But yeah,
slightest
let's go through these real quick. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it looks beautiful. Like it truly looks like they're pushing the tech in
Yeah,
terms of the PS5, which is awesome.
yeah.
Um,
We got to see a bunch of characters dead at the beginning, so that was cool.
I mean, did they confirm that they're dead, or is it just like after some shit happened? They're
I don't
I don't
think so.
know.
I don't know. They
But
look dead to
these
me.
games are doing a lot of different things than was in the original game, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah,
who
it's like a
knows?
whole new story now, right? Like they diverted the timeline or something.
I that we don't really know. Like the end of the first one kind of hints at that, but I think the second game like we'll really know what the fuck is going on.
Gotcha. And this is supposed to be a trilogy, right? There is another one coming after this.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So, oh, I mean, I'm excited for you. I'm sure we're gonna hear about it from you playing it next year.
Yeah, I mean, I let
I
me get
did
to
see.
Final Fantasy 16 first.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's like in a couple weeks, isn't it?
June
Um,
22nd.
yeah. So yeah, this was a very Final Fantasy 7 announcement to me. I was like, okay, yeah, there's gonna be people that are very excited for that and they're gonna love it, but that doesn't really do much for me personally.
Yeah. We can move on because I'm just gonna talk about Final Fantasy in the future anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so the second, and well, maybe not announcement because we knew it was coming, but the second thing they showed off during the show was Mortal Kombat 1. We got to look at actual gameplay here, and they went into the cameo system, which is so it's this odd thing. So at the beginning of every match, you're going to pick your character you want to play, and then you also choose a cameo character who is like one of the original games versions of that character, and they like come in and help you with combos and stuff. So it's kind of like a tag team thing, but you don't strictly play as that character ever. You just like bring them in for like a quick attack. Um, it, it's
Weird.
an it's an interesting thing. Yeah. So if you don't know Mortal Kombat 1, the reason why it's called 1 is because in 11, Liu Kang became a fire god, and now he's rewriting the timeline. So they rebooted the series again. I hate the name Mortal Kombat 1. I just absolutely hate it. I just call it something else. Mortal Kombat Resurrected or whatever. I don't care. 1 is stupid. But yeah, so we've got all these characters that are like slightly different from how you know them, and then you call in like their older versions to come help you fight. It's odd, but it looks really good. The graphics on this are like really impressive.
I
I
mean,
Mortal Kombat,
every Mortal Kombat game looks
yeah,
great.
almost every Mortal Kombat game. Uh, yeah, I'm really interested to see what the story is going to be like in this new game. I'm also excited to see the rest of the roster. They showed some new characters today, like Kinchi, Goro was in there, uh, just a few characters, but there's a lot more to show off. I'm excited for this game. Um, yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah, I might actually pick it up. I know I said that that's like the only fighting game I would consider getting at launch, and I mean, it looks
Hmm.
awesome. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Mortal Kombat, and Super Smash Brothers are the only fighting games I really ever get into. So, but yeah. Next up, the most exciting announcement to me was Sonic Superstars, and so when this was first shown off, I was like, "Oh, is this Sonic Mania 2? Finally?" Not quite that, but it is a new 2D Sonic game. Except this time, you get to play with up to 4 people, a la New Super Mario Brothers, which is very awesome. It's the first time that we've had like co-op in a Sonic game. I'm super pumped to play this. I cannot wait until it comes out. You get to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy Rose, and yeah, I think it looks gorgeous. There was a bunch of new like features they added in there. There was like this digital thing where they like transformed into octopuses and were like swimming around. It was really weird. So it looks
I
like they're
saw
doing
that
some
part.
new they're doing some new things with the game here, and that has me pretty pumped. Yeah, I mean, anyone that watches this show knows I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I think this looks great. So very excited for that. After, well, not after that, but later on, we got some Alan Wake 2 gameplay shown. You didn't play the first one, right?
No, I never did.
Yeah. So this game has been a long time coming. In all honesty, Alan Wake 1 came out in what 2008, I think, 2009, something like that, and it's just kind of been sitting there since then. This game is supposed to like incorporate more survival horror aspects of it, so I think they're trying to make it a little more like Resident Evil. They added this new character named Saga, who's an FBI agent, and she's just kind of exploring the area, and she'll like interact with Alan Wake, who's like trapped in a lake. If you don't know, it's if you haven't played Alan Wake 1, I definitely recommend it if you can handle semi spooky stuff. I wouldn't call that first game a horror game, but there is kind of creepy stuff in there. I think it's great, but yeah, I guess that's down to your interpretation of great. The Twisted Metal show had a terrible clip shown, as we were talking about earlier. So in this PlayStation classic that is totally known for car combat, we got a little clip of Sweet Tooth beating up John Doe with no cars shown at all, just in this casino area, and it's not good. So Anthony Mackie's playing John Doe, a completely original character for the series, kind of like that one guy that was added in the Mortal Kombat movie. He's the star, and just he's a new guy. Sweet Tooth, body wise, is played by Samoa Joe, but he's voiced by Will Arnett, and I'm not too worried about that. I'm like, okay, whatever. But man, I really miss the original Twisted Metal look for Sweet Tooth, where he was like tall and skinny and had flaming hair. Uh, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see how it comes out when the series comes out. But man, I am not excited at all for it.
That's the thing is like I'm not excited to watch it, but I'll probably watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Like I'm not going into I don't think I would go into any Twisted Metal like content outside of video games and expect it to be amazing.
I do now. I think we're at the point now where we can expect these shows and movies to be good. Like we've
But for
had
Twisted
enough.
Metal,
Eh, it's Sony. Sony has
no, don't try
enough.
and justify
They
it. It's
have
still Twisted Metal.
okay, let's just tear down Sony then. You know, the company that's well, probably PlayStation is their most well-known thing, but they are pretty well known for movies and stuff. No. I'm not giving them an out for that, Joel. I have to hold them to a higher standard and you
But
shouldn't do.
you have to think about the IP though, right? Like The Last of Us, great story, which would translate really well into TV. Twisted
Mhm.
Metal, who knows what the fuck this is gonna be?
They could do it. If they wanted to, they would, Joel, okay?
I mean, they are, but
Whatever.
apparently they don't want to.
Yeah. They should have just really focused on a new game before putting out a series. I just I don't get Sony's thinking in a lot of areas lately. Pal World is a Pokemon like game, but all the monsters have guns, so that was interesting. I couldn't tell. This game kind of looks familiar to me, but
I think I don't know if we've seen this exact. Jesus Christ, dude, these are just ripped off Pokemon.
they're just straight up Pokemon. Yeah,
How did Jeff Keighley allow this into his showcase? Like,
that's kind of what I was thinking. The giant Totoro electric thing there with the Gatling gun, that one was interesting. Yeah, no, they're just straight up Pokemon with guns, and I just it's wild to me that they're actually able to do all this.
I don't know, it doesn't look that interesting to me.
It's just the idea of it. It obviously makes the most impression, I think. Um, it because looking at the very little bit of gameplay that it shows, the characters just kind of walking around and shooting monsters with their own monsters shooting as well, and that's not really too exciting. But I don't know. It's coming out early access in January, so we'll see then, I guess. Spider-Man 2 got a release date for October 20th. Don't know why they held that for this show when they could have just shown it at the PlayStation showcase, but
Maybe Keighley paid him. You never know.
maybe. They did show a couple of things of concept art too that looked really cool. That was awesome to see. I don't
Like like
know.
ho- like how much do you think Sony would need Keighley to pay him to be like, all right, hold the release date for this date, for Summer Game Fest in 2 weeks,
Hmm.
like 50K, right? Like it doesn't have to be that much. Like it's just free money at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I don't know. It was just a really weird situation to me. Like, when was that show? Like a week ago now. Yeah, it's odd planning. My last bit of notable announcements I have on here is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. So this is just a massive zombie slugfest. It looks like pretty much you're in this car working with other people and just mowing down zombies. as you play through this. And I they didn't really show like any like story elements here. It was kind of just you're around this car and there's hordes of zombies, kill them. So for that aspect of it, I'm like, okay, I'm interested because I love zombie games. And this is also coming from Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment. They're the ones that made World War Z, and I was
I
like,
never played
oh,
that.
it's a game I really liked. It's a Left 4 Dead like game, but like third person, and I really enjoyed it. So I've got some excitement for this game coming up. But other than that, man, I don't really think there was anything at Summer Game Fest that I was like really ecstatic for. There was a new Prince of Persia game that was shown off. It's a 2D game called Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Uh, there was also like uh, a Diablo copy game. Exo Primal and Street Fighter 6 are having a crossover. There was a new Witcher show trailer. There just wasn't really anything that I was like, yeah, this is really good. This is really replacing E3. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't seen all the announcements because like I said, I didn't watch it.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, from what you're showing here, like if these were the announcements and the show was like 40 minutes long, that probably would have been a great show, right? But it
Hmm.
was almost 2 hours long, and
Yep.
these were the notable things. And to be fair, Summer Game Fest is like very much sponsored, right? So like there were probably ads, right, in between every few announcements.
The ads this time were trailers for the most part. I mean, there were some things like a Samsung monitor was shown off
Oh,
and all
like
that.
like when they showed Homeworld 3 like 5 times that one.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was
No,
so funny.
there was nothing like that, but there for the most part they were video game trailers, just like really small, like you've never heard of this before, but it's
Yeah.
probably been mentioned before. So
Okay.
that part of it was fine, but yeah, none of I can't think of a single one of those smaller trailers where I was like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna remember that.
God, it's Pokemon with guns. How are they getting away with that? You know, Nintendo's like drafting up some paperwork right now.
Probably.
Crazy.
All
All right,
right.
John. Sunday is the Xbox Game Showcase, which I will not be watching.
Wow.
Yeah, I like I'll watch it at some point, but my parents are in town, so I will not be able to watch it live, unfortunately.
I'll make them watch it with you. Show them what you're into.
I might be out on a boat that day on Lake Michigan, but
Oh,
not 100% sure. But yeah, I probably won't be watching this live. I'll probably watch it later at night because my parents fly out Sunday night, so I'll probably rush home to watch it. And yeah, stay tuned. I think next Tuesday is our plan to record because I'm going out of town next weekend. So next Tuesday we'll probably record and talk all about the Xbox stuff, all about Starfield that we've seen. But yeah, let's just talk about some stuff that we want from the Xbox showcase. Um, I really so I've said it before. We're like I enjoy Fallout games, right?
mm-hmm.
Which means I'll probably enjoy Starfield, but I don't think I've ever gone into a Fallout game like insanely excited, right? Like I got insanely excited for Fallout 76, but
That
that's
was a
because it
mistake.
yeah, it was, but that's because of the multiplayer aspect of it, right? Like it was changing what Fallout is, or
Hmm.
at least tried to do that. Whereas Starfield, like to me, it just looks like another Fallout game,
It's
more or
Fallout
less.
in
And
space.
yeah, and I really need to see what this game's all about to either sell me. Like, don't get me wrong. Either way, I'm playing it day one, right? Like, I have Game Pass, so that's not an issue. It's just like they really need to sell me to get super excited about this game on Sunday. And I think that's how a lot of people probably feel. And even though I know there's people who are diehard Fallout fans, so they're probably already like crazy excited for Starfield. And like I'm not trying to knock them down or anything. Like that's that if that's their jam, that's their jam. But like for me, like I need to see what this game's all about.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna get that because once the Xbox showcase is over, you're getting like a full hour of Starfield stuff. So if we're really gonna find out if we're into it or not by that point. If we
Did you
don't
see
know
that?
by
Did you see that
Hmm.
Starfield controller that leaked?
Yeah, I saw that. It didn't really do anything for me personally, but
I like it. I think it's
oh,
good.
cool. Uh, yeah, Starfield is something I'm like, okay, yeah, when it comes out, I'll download it off Game Pass and play it, but it's not really something I'm super ecstatic for at the moment. I am excited though that Xbox like came out and promised they're like, there's not going to be any full CG trailers for first party games that are shown off here, which in the past has been like all of their first party showings. So that kind of gives me hope that we're gonna actually get Fable gameplay, maybe State of Decay 3. Those are the first two that jump to my mind. Those are my 1A and 1B. Like I need to see these at this show. Besides that, I mean, Perfect Dark would be awesome to see, but I don't really expect it. At that point, that game could come out in a decade, and I'd still be like, "Yeah, they're working on it. Whatever."
I could totally see Perfect Dark being like Beyond Good and Evil 3 or 2, whatever the fuck one they're
Yeah,
making.
or it just
I
disappears forever.
yeah, where it's like, oh yeah, we saw a really cool like. To be fair, we saw a lot more of Beyond Good and Evil than we did of Perfect Dark, but
Yeah.
still, like we're like, oh yeah, they showed this ridiculous CGI cinematic trailer, and then you just don't hear about it ever again.
Hmm. Yep, that's kind of what I'm expecting for Perfect Dark. So yeah, my main focus is Fable. I have to see Fable to be truly happy from this. State of Decay 3 would also make me a very happy boy because I love the State of Decay games. I expect to see Contraband. We'll find out whatever that is. That like heist drug smuggling game that they semi teased last year. Um, yeah. Other than that, I don't. Do you think we're gonna finally get the Halo Battle Royale game?
Sorry, my headset like cut out for
Do you
like
th-
2 seconds there.
do you think we're gonna finally get that Halo Battle Royale game?
I don't have hope for that, at least not yet. Um, I don't know, man. That game's in such a weird place where I could see them not even acknowledging it exists in this showcase, or I could see them, talking for 5 minutes about what the changes that are coming to the game, because like they have that game, they're working on it, it's sitting there, like they need to inform people what's going on with it, right? Because
Hmm.
like somebody like me who doesn't play the game anymore, like that's a perfect opportunity for them to tell me like, hey, this is why you should be excited for whatever season 4 or 5, whatever's coming out, in August or whenever the hell it is. Like this is why you should be looking forward to that, because we're adding all this stuff. And I have seen stuff here and there on Twitter where like they're adding a ranking system. You're gonna be getting more XP for your rank and stuff, which is which is all cool and stuff. But it's like not what I need to get hooked back on the game.
It's been 3 years since Halo Infinite came out, and they're just adding a ranking system.
No, so there's a ranking system for ranked modes, but like, in previous Halo games, how you could like, I don't like a progression rank, right?
Oh,
You're not
I
just going
gotcha,
from 1 to 100 on a battle pass, but you're also
gotcha.
working towards like lieutenant. You start at private, and you go like
I
private
get
first class.
like a profile
Um,
rank.
yeah, kind of like that.
Gotcha.
And where
Okay,
I don't know, maybe you can prestige at the end of it. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it too much, but
gotcha.
I would love to see something Halo, because then that would reassure my mind's like, okay, at least they have some sort of plan, given
Hmm.
all the people that have left, all the things that have changed within the company. But yeah, Brandon
Yeah,
Addison in the chat says he wants Fable, State of Decay 3, and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
yeah. There's definitely a chance that it comes here because I mean they showed off Cyberpunk 2077 at the Xbox showcase back in the day with Keanu Reeves.
That
It's definitely a
famous
chance.
Keanu Reeves.
There's definitely a big chance that they go into it here. I would think that they would kind of tease that with, but maybe that game has just fallen off so hard that they want to keep it a surprise. I don't know.
Do we know how long this showcase is going to be? Did they say?
Well, go ahead and vamp, and I will look to see because I want to say they do. I don't know.
I mean, one thing I'm very glad about is it says roughly 2 hours in total.
That might include the Starfield thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, it does. So I'd say probably an hour and then maybe an hour of Starfield, which is
Yeah,
like one thing I'm very happy about is that if Starfield, I'm sure Starfield is going to be in the Xbox showcase in some way, right? It'll probably just be like a teaser with like the release date on it, no more than like a minute long. But I'm glad that they have.
not even that. I think it'll just be like Phil Spencer saying, "And wait till the end for Starfield and all that." I
Well,
think
no,
that's it.
I think they have to have it in there because when people go on YouTube and watch the Xbox Game Showcase, like it's not gonna have that whole Starfield directly at the end of it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
I think
separated
it'll.
out into two things.
I think it'll just be right there.
I don't think so. We'll see. But and that's why I'm glad they're doing the Starfield thing after. That way, I don't have to sit in the middle of this showcase to be like, "Welcome to the universe of Starfield. You can go on this any planet you see, you can go to." And then like they go to,
And
it's
it
like this is
just works.
yeah, this is how you build your house on Starfield. Like I don't need to like that's something I'll probably watch like in the background while I'm working, but like if I'm trying to watch an Xbox showcase, I don't want that in the middle of the fucking showcase for 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's
You
way
think
too
we see
entertaining.
anything from Gears?
It's been a long time since we saw anything Gears. What would be the Gears Tactics in 2019? I think.
Yeah, I technically
Like it, when was Gears 5? 2018.
I thought you were
It
going to bring
was.
up that Gears Pop game.
I forgot about that.
I loved that game. That game was awesome.
It was okay.
Gears Tactics came out April 28th of 2020.
Okay. So
Gears
then Gears
5
5
came
2019.
out in 2019, September 6th of 2019.
Cool.
So we're at like 4 years since like
Yeah,
a legit Gears game.
it definitely feels like it's that time for them to at least reveal it. Um,
I
it's
would
gonna be
I would even be happy with them saying like, "All right, we're going to remaster 2 and 3."
yeah,
Like
that'd be
I
fine.
think that would be an acceptable thing right now.
Hmm. I do feel like the Gears 5 ending was pretty controversial for the fan base. Like I don't
Yeah,
think they like that decision thing that
I
they
don't
had in there.
know exactly cuz I don't know how that will play into a Gear 6.
It
Like
was a
like
big thing.
it was a huge moment, and that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is like, could my game be drastically different than John's game, right? When we
Or
start Gears 6?
are they gonna go the cheap way and be like, "Oh, this was the canonical one," and force everyone into the
I
same?
hate I hate when games do that, John.
Yeah,
That's like one of my biggest gaming pet peeves.
yeah. But now going forward, you have to have one of these two characters just not in there or completely doing the same thing. I don't know. It's they really whenever they do something like that, whenever any video game company does something like that, they just paint themselves into a corner, and I don't understand it. Like that was I don't know. That wasn't a great choice by them for looking ahead. But it's the coalition, and all they do is Gears stuff. So I don't see them going away from like a Gears 6 or unless they do another spin-off game, which is possible, I guess.
I don't know.
What was the one that they did?
Gears
Judgment?
Tactics? Oh, Judgment, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. They could do something like that, maybe.
Yeah, just to kill time until they can figure out how to continue the story.
Yeah. I mean, they might end up doing something like that. Who knows? Or they just completely give us a new protagonist for Gears 6. I don't know. There's also other Xbox companies in here that I'm completely forgetting about. Compulsion Games, they've been working on something for a long time and we've just never seen anything on it. So hopefully we get an announcement there.
What about Hellblade?
Hellblade, yes. Hellblade has to have a release date by now. Like that has got to give they have to be telling me, "Oh, this is either out this fall or it's out next year sometime."
Or
It
it's
has
canceled.
that oh my god, that would be terrible with how much work they put into
Yeah.
it.
I think
Um
I think we're gonna get a small bit about Forza because that's kind of
yeah,
around the corner. They're gonna talk about that briefly, I think.
yeah, no, they'll probably give that one a release date for like August or September. That's like when the Forza games usually come out. Yeah, I would be surprised if we don't get that Forza game. But I still can't believe we got Forza Horizon 5 before that.
Yeah, and I remember when I predicted that, you and Connor both told me I was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I still think you're crazy for getting
Oh,
it.
I'm fucking crazy. I still am
Yeah,
crazy. Not even
yeah.
just about that. I'm just crazy.
Besides
I'm gonna go
Starfield,
rent a one bedroom apartment in that broken down building. That's how crazy I
yeah. Besides Starfield, do you have any Bethesda things you want to see?
am. I don't
Because
know, man.
we could have Wolfenstein 3, and we could have that Indiana Jones game.
You know what else we could have, John?
Hmm.
Another fucking Fallout 76 expansion because they love to just throw these things into these for like a 45-second teaser. Just like here's the Flag and Liberty expansion
Yeah,
coming July 22nd.
that probably will happen because they do have one of those like every single year. So yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, do you think they talk about Redfall at all with how badly received that was recently?
I mean, I could see them doing it just because Phil Spencer has been open, like vocally open about like the release of that game when he was
Hmm.
on the Kind of Funny Xcast. So I could see them addressing it in some way. Just because like they got to get ahead of it and be like, these are the changes that we're making to the game to, you know what I mean. At this point, it almost seems like that game needs like a year's worth of work into it and then come out with like a
A
definitive
massive
edition.
rework thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so that to try and get people back into it because like I never even downloaded the game because like I had every intention of playing the game when it came out because like Game Pass, right? The Game Pass effect. I
Yeah.
intend on playing all these games, but then it came out and then the reviews were so bad on it. I was like, oof, I don't even want to waste my time playing it.
Yeah. I played like an hour of it, and this was one of my most anticipated games for this year. So I think I played it and I'm like, yeah, this game's buggy and everything. And I was playing it solo. I was like, I don't want to keep playing this. I'm going to wait until it's fixed. So I just haven't touched it in forever. I'm like waiting for someone to be like, hey, I want to play Redfall. Want to play with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's get in. But right now, I have no desire to go back to it with everything else that's going on. I hope that they fix it because, yeah, like I said, this is this was one of my most anticipated games, and it's set up to be the worst disappointment of the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's never a good feeling. Brandon Addison in the chat again says Microsoft's VR since Meta, PlayStation, and Apple are all coming out with one.
They're not going to do it.
They won't do it.
Nope. I would I would actually be shocked if Xbox came out with a VR headset, and
I
then
would be I would have all the feelings about that. I'd be shocked, then I'd be excited, then I'd be scared, all at the same time, because it's like that's exactly how I felt about PSVR 2. I wasn't shocked about PSVR 2, but I got excited and then I got scared once the game was coming out and everybody's like, "Yeah, this thing's awesome, but why
there's
is
no
it here?
game.
Why is
There's
it
no
here if we can't play anything?"
yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's a good
Do you
idea.
do you
Hololens
remember
was
when they announced? I think it was the Xbox One X, and it said VR ready on like
yeah.
the thing,
Hmm.
and that's when I got so excited. I was like, all right, finally, because like Oculus and Microsoft have been playing well together, right? They were bundling
That's what I
Xbox
thought was going to
controllers
happen.
with
I thought
Oculus,
Oculus. Yeah.
and I thought for sure, Xbox is going to start growing a library of VR games that you could play, connect your Oculus to your Xbox somehow and play them
Hmm.
because that would have been the smartest way to go about console VR gaming, in my opinion, is because like your Xbox basically is a computer, right? Like it runs off a version of Windows,
Yeah.
and just have the gamers buy a device that's not solely used for your Xbox, but can also be used on a PlayStation or
Hmm.
on a PC. Sorry,
Yeah. That
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 would have
made
been
the
the
most
smartest
sense.
thing.
That
But
made the
then
most sense
nothing
to me
came
too.
of it.
Remember when they were like showing off Hololens at E3, and they had the guy with the Oculus on playing on stage, and I was like, yeah, this makes so much sense. Just like connect them all together,
Yeah,
put it on the Xbox. That would be great. But yeah, they just never did it.
yeah. It's just weird. Like, why did th- they put it in there? It's like VR ready or like VR compatible. I don't know what they said exactly, but it's like,
Yeah.
I, well, yeah, I could probably fry an egg on my fucking Xbox too. You're not putting that in the fucking press release.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, that's all I can think of, unless you've got anything else you want to bring up for the Xbox showcase.
No, I'm excited to watch it. I gotta like delete Twitter off my phone for that day because I
Hmm.
know if I don't, I'm just gonna get spoiled. And like, I'm fine being spoiled with Summer Game Fest, but I'm a big Xbox fan, and so like I want to watch that and experience that
All
firsthand.
right. I'll be sure not to text you or anything. All right. Ready for some quick news?
Let's do it.
All right. First up, growth of video game subscription spending is beginning to stall, some new data suggests. So I was planning on talking about this more, but we went long with that stuff, so I took it out. But according to the company, to here, one sec, from an analytics firm called Circana, um, April 2023 game subscription spending in the US was only 2% higher than in the same period last year. So, pretty much what it's all coming down to is inflation and spending is so crazy right now that subscriptions are about to go down. They've been rising for a long time since the pandemic. They're about to plateau and probably drop for like Game Pass and PSN and all that.
I would love to see the graph like year to year, like because like it probably goes up a lot in the winter, and then once it gets nice out, I'm sure those numbers drop every year. Like
Well,
once the weather's nice out.
think about the pandemic, just how much it just
Oh yeah,
skyrocketed, and then it's probably gone down a bit since then, but not much, if any.
yeah.
Diablo 4 has been dealing with some server issues, unsurprisingly, but it is also Blizzard's fastest selling game ever. Massive success for Blizzard, although there's also people that are crying foul for the microtransactions because that's always going to happen whenever a game has microtransactions now, especially with Activision Blizzard.
What kind of microtransactions does it have? All I've seen are like the skins, right?
Yeah, that's so I did a little bit of looking. I just got the game yesterday, and I did a little bit of looking in the shop, and all it looked like was you buy coins to spend on cosmetic differences. It doesn't look like they make your character
I,
better or anything.
at this point, I don't
So
understand why there's backlash. Every game is doing that same thing. The only reason there should be backlash is if you can buy like levels or
yeah,
like in Diablo Immortal, right? That was a thing
hmm
where
that
you could
was,
buy to get to the highest level and just be good to play
and
end game.
and then you could like also like the only way to get the best gear in the game was to buy those gems. Like that was
Yeah,
shitty. I
exactly.
could be wrong, and I've only played like 2 hours of Diablo 4 so far, and I might just have missed it, but I didn't see that when I was looking at
Yeah,
least.
I looked in that store too because I just wanted to see what cool skins there were because I'm loving the game. We'll talk about it in a bit, and I considered like maybe I'll buy a skin, but there was nothing really that I was interested
Hmm.
in.
Gotcha. Spider-Man 2 has an awesome collector's statue. They revealed this today after Summer Game Fest. It's this awesome, like, it's a Venom statue with Miles on one side and Peter on the other side attacking him. And I'm not gonna lie, this might be the first collector's edition I buy in a very long time.
Holy shit, that's badass! I didn't see that till right now.
Yeah, it looks
How much
really
is it?
cool. It's
How much
like
we talking?
230, I want to say.
230 sold. I'm buying this fucking thing. Elise is gonna
Considering
hate it.
considering that the game is like $70, and you also get like there's a
You get
display
two.
or a steelbook case and all that.
Yeah, that steelbook case is pretty cool looking too.
Yeah, that was the
Um,
concept art that they showed off today.
oh, cool.
Yeah,
So it says it's 19 inches. Is that from like the top of Miles to the base?
I would imagine, but I could be wrong. It could be just a
And
Venom. But how much is
that thing's
19 inches?
huge.
I don't. It's big, but yeah, I want it. I'm not gonna lie.
You see, here's the thing though. Is like this is how my brain works. Is I'm gonna pre-order that when it comes out, and I'm gonna get to thinking like, fuck. Now I want the original Spider-Man collector's edition. I'm gonna go on eBay, and it's gonna be like $500.
What was that one?
It was also really cool. Hold on.
Do, do,
Collector's edition
do.
PS4. Let me find a. It had Peter, or it had Spider-Man on top of like,
Oh,
it
the
looked
Doc
like,
Ock spiral thing.
yeah, and then it had like the rhinos, whatever the fuck his name is, his head.
Mm. Um, it looks like it's not too expensive. Well,
Yeah,
okay, it depends on where you buy it from, but eh, I think the Venom one looks really awesome though.
yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
next up, the Friday the 13th game is being delisted next year. I didn't look close enough into it to see if they are shutting down the servers, but it is being pulled off of stores. So,
I mean, that game held on for a lot longer than I expected it to. Once they got like the so like they got the okay, right, from the IP owner, and then
mm,
I think it was like a year or two after the game was out, the IP owner was like, "All right, we got to pull that for like you can't you can keep the game running, you can keep selling it, you just cannot update the game anymore outside of like tech or bug issues. Like you can't release skins, you can't add new content." And that I want to say that was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So
I
honestly,
feel like it was even longer. I feel like that was like 5 or 6 years ago. It was
like
a
good
long
on
time
them
ago.
for being able to keep it around as long as they did.
Yeah, if only their other games were good. Sorry, what? Uh, Nintendo have revealed that Bowser is 34 years old. So use that knowledge to your benefit.
Okay.
It was just like a they were putting up a video on like how to like set up your profile on your Switch, and they had Bowser like setting up his profile, and he put in his birthday. It was like February 1989, and then Bowser Jr. is like 13. So yeah, more expansion cards for Xbox Series X and S are finally coming out, lowering the price. The ones
Finally.
I saw were from
Western Digital.
yes, that's it.
So yeah, they have
Um,
a 500 gig one for $80, and then a 1 terabyte card for, hold on, 150,
that is so much
which is
better.
that's literally $70 less than the Seagate one that has been out. Seagate must have signed one hell of a deal with Xbox because
Yeah,
the fact that it took this long for another company to come out with them, that's crazy.
the very fact that Xbox allowed that to happen too, like that
Money,
that's
John. It all
that's
comes down to money.
I guess, but wow, that was something. That's all I've got for quick news, and I didn't have any interesting email to go over today. So, what you been playing?
The only thing I've played is Diablo 4, and I fucking love this game. It's
Hmm.
it's
How
one of
far are you?
those games. I finished Acts 1 and 2,
Yep.
so I don't know. I'm like 12 to 15 hours in. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those games where like you can just mindlessly play. You don't really have to pay attention to what you're doing most of the time. You just running around holding buttons. All like you know the combos that you're doing, right? Because like there's only like five or six abilities you can use, right? Because you can only equip that many. So like you know the order of operations of how you should be using your skills and stuff. But that game is it's just fun. Like the graphics are amazing on it. Like it just looking at the ground when you walk into an area, it just blows my mind at times like how much detail there is for how far zoomed out you are on the screen. Um the Lilith cutscenes, like they're
They're
amazing.
they're really good.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
Like that intro cutscene to the game before you even make your character or anything. That's like an S tier like graphic fidelity like Blur mode. I don't know who made it, but it's like when Blur did all the Halo cutscenes in the Halo 2 anniversary. Like it looks
that
so good.
that is Blizzard at their best. They are when they do those kind of CGI cutscenes, they really excel with them, and that is definitely up there with their best ever.
Yeah. I've only found one. I don't. Is it legendary? I think they're called legend. Like the top tier weapons. I've only
Hmm.
found one in my playthrough so far. And luckily it's one that I can actually use. I'm playing a necromancer, which I just call in a bunch of minions from the dead and they help me kill things.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm 2x in. I'm excited to keep playing. Like I said, I got a lot going on this week. My parents are in town. Got a new car. I'm installing a new stereo in the car. It's been hectic over here.
Mhm.
So I'll get to it next week sometime. And then I'm out of town next week. Fuck. In the future.
Oh, poor man. Yeah, I've also been playing Diablo 4. Like I said earlier, I just got it yesterday. My friend bought it for me because I am broke as fuck. Um, I got about 2 hours in, and then the game crashed on me. So I was like, okay, I better call it quits because it was like 1 in the morning. But I'm right there with you. This game's great. It's right up there with Diablo 3 for me. That was the first one I played, and I loved it. I see myself putting so many hours into this game. I'm playing a sorcerer because that was my favorite character to play in Diablo 3. So I picked it up again, and
What do you think you're gonna play as your second character if you go through it?
I was looking at them, and I was thinking maybe a druid.
That's where I'm
Um,
at. I was gonna play a druid until I read somewhere online that like they're really slow to start.
hmm,
And that kind of like pulled me back a little bit, just because like I didn't want to get burnt out on the game by playing a character that's like super slow and weak right at the beginning.
yeah,
So I think I'll play that as my second character.
yeah. I was thinking druid, but who knows? I'll decide when I get there. I'm just enjoying the game right now. I go along my main quest until I find someone that's given me a side quest, and then I go and do that. Uh, I'm sure once I get leveled up enough, I'll you and I will play together, and we'll have some good times. Because yeah, it's that's the thing about Diablo is like you said, it's just kind of mindless fun. And when you can play that with someone else, like you and I could just be talking about whatever and just
We
be
could be talking about shitty Davenport apartments.
yeah, yeah, I can tell you how my place is falling apart now and everything. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so excited to get into more Diablo. You've been playing anything else?
Dude, I'm trying to like in a meeting last week that I didn't have to do anything for. I played a little Pokemon Red for like an
Yeah.
hour. That's about it. Like I just have not had time to play anything. Oh,
All
Beat
good.
Saber. I
Hey.
so I've been working out in VR on my PSVR 2 and been playing Beat Saber during lunch for like 51 minutes every day. Yeah, that game's Beat Saber, I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
Um,
if out of all the Beat Sabers you've played, how Beat Saber is it?
it's about a 10 out of 10 on the Beat Saber scale.
Wow. So it's the real deal.
Yeah, I got some like top 100 scores on that game, which is exciting worldwide. So go try and beat some Aspelonker scores on the PSVR 2.
Uh, Other games I've been playing, more Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, I've played so much of it, and I still am loving it. I'm very close on finding all the shrines, and I haven't used any guides yet. I want to say I'm 15 away from having all of them, so we'll see. I'm just like
So like
going,
so maybe like another 80 hours of searching
yeah, yeah. If
cuz
I
they could
find them,
literally be anywhere.
yeah, they can literally be like in caves now and stuff. So
Yeah.
I have to get super lucky. Yeah, no, I just kind of there's a shrine indicator thing that you can unlock that when you're close to it, it'll start blinking. So I just like go on side quests and stuff, and if I see a blink, I'm like, oh, stop everything! I gotta go look for the shrine. Other than that, I played Planet Alana, which came to Game Pass like the same day as Tears of the Kingdom. This is a indie game that it's like really artsy, um, and it playing. I've only played about an hour of it so far. Playing it kind of reminds me of Limbo, but like more colorful. There's a lot of just like side scrolling platforming, and moving boxes to get to where you want to be. Limbo is definitely better, but Planet Alana is pretty nice from a story perspective. I also got a review code for Speed Crew, which I'm reviewing for GameSandwich.com. I will have that up tomorrow, I
What
believe.
is
But
Speed
it's a
Crew?
Speed Crew is essentially Overcooked, but you're a pit crew for racing cars. So
That sounds
you like
awesome. Not gonna
it
lie.
It's actually really fun. The only problem is I got it before launch and I didn't have anyone to play with, and playing solo for that kind of game sucks.
Sounds
But
like a problem.
I can definitely see how if you had like 4 people playing with you, that game would be a blast. So
What's it on?
Switch and Steam. I
Oh,
got
it's
it
on
on
X.
Switch.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation Q3 of this year.
Gotcha.
So it's out on Switch now.
It's also funny because the antagonist of the game, his name is Dominion Torrento, and he's a part
Mm,
of the
like,
Furious family. And I'm like,
okay, they
okay, I
know what
see
they're
what
doing.
you're doing here.
Yeah. All right, with that, I think we're gonna end episode 232 of the Pixel Street podcast. Sorry, I really got to use the bathroom, so that's why I kind of cut you short. But yeah, as always, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pin tweet there. To follow us on youtube.com/Pixel Street videos, as well as joining our Discord server, and send us pictures of your excitement for the Xbox Game Showcase on Sunday. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. John, where are you at on them internets?
On Twitter, I am at Rific Shadows, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com.
Cool. We will be right back here next week with episode 233 of the Pixel Street podcast.
Bye.